You reach for it without thinking. A piece of chocolate, a biscuit, a spoonful of something sweet straight from the jar. You weren't even hungry. You just wanted it. And the moment it hit your tongue, something in your brain exhaled. Something ancient and enormous settled down. But here's what nobody tells you. That craving isn't a weakness. It's a survival system so powerful it kept your species alive for 2 million years, and it is absolutely destroying you now. Let's go back not 100 years, not 1,000, 2 million years to a grassland in East Africa where your ancestor crouches in the dirt. The sun is brutal. Food is unpredictable. Some days there is enough, many days there isn't. Your ancestor doesn't know when the next meal is coming, so when they find something sweet, something ripe, something dense with energy, the brain does something remarkable. It floods the body with dopamine, not just a little, a wave of it, enough to make that fruit, that honey, that cluster of berries feel like the most important thing in the world.
Wow.
That feeling is a map. It says, remember this, come back here, do this again. Your ancestor who felt that pull most intensely was the one who ate the most, stored the most fat, survived the longest, the one who could take or leave a ripe fig. They didn't make it. You are descended from the one who couldn't stop. Robert Lustig, a neuroendocrinologist at the University of California, San Francisco, has spent decades studying what sugar actually does inside the human brain. His conclusion is uncomfortable. Sugar doesn't just taste good. It hijacks the same dopamine reward pathways that cocaine activates, not metaphorically, literally the same circuitry. When you eat something sweet, your nucleus accumbens lights up, your brain stamps that moment as survival critical, and then subtly it begins to recalibrate. It raises the threshold. It asks for more next time just to feel the same thing. This is not a character flaw. This is engineering. Exquisitely precise, 2 million year old engineering that has no idea it's 2024. Think about what sweet meant for the entirety of human history. It meant calories. It meant safety. It meant that summer had arrived and the fruit was ripe and you had better eat as much as you possibly could because winter was coming and winter was going to be cruel. Your brain learned to treat sweetness as a signal of abundance. And abundance in the ancient world was rare enough to celebrate. There was no such thing as a shelf in a supermarket stacked 30 products deep with things that are sweeter than any fruit that ever existed on this planet. That reality is roughly 50 years old. Your brain's reward system is 2 million years old. It was not built for this. A landmark study by Ahmed, Lenoir, and Cantine, published in PLOS One, tested rats given unlimited access to both intravenous cocaine and intensely sweetened water. The rats chose the sugar. Over 90% of them, even the ones already addicted to cocaine, switched. Sweet won every time. The researchers described the results as evidence that the reward signal generated by sweetness exceeds the reward signal of one of the most addictive substances humans have ever synthesized. Now consider that you are being handed that intensely sweetened water at the checkout, in the vending machine, in the sauce on your dinner, in the bread you didn't think twice about. Here's the part that makes this harder.
You're starting to see it, aren't you? The system was never broken. It was just built for a different world. If that's shifting something for you, hit like and subscribe. Because we're going somewhere even stranger inside the human brain. You won't want to miss it.
Your brain has two systems running at the same time. There's the ancient system, the one we've been talking about, deep in the subcortical regions, fast, automatic, emotional, always scanning for reward and threat. And there's the newer system, the prefrontal cortex, slow, rational, capable of long-term planning and self-regulation. These two systems are not equals. The ancient one is faster. It fires before you are consciously aware. By the time your rational brain says, I shouldn't, your hand is already reaching. This isn't you failing to try hard enough. This is a mismatch in processing speed between a 2 million year old system and a 200,000 year old one. Psychologist Roy Baumeister's research on ego depletion shows that self-control draws on a limited cognitive resource, The more decisions you make, the more stress you carry, the more you have already resisted throughout the day, the weaker that prefrontal override becomes. The ancient system doesn't get tired. The rational one does. This is why every diet fails at 8 in the evening and not at 8 in the morning. The ancient brain waited you out.
But the story doesn't stop at hunger. It goes deeper. Stress accelerates everything. When your body perceives threat, it releases cortisol. Cortisol signals scarcity. It tells your brain, something is wrong, resources are low, eat now, eat dense, eat sweet. In the ancient world, stress and food scarcity were the same thing. If you were stressed, it was probably because something was trying to eat you or your food supply had disappeared. Eating sweet, calorie-dense food was the correct biological response. Today, your cortisol spikes because of a work deadline, because of traffic, because of a notification on your phone. Your body cannot tell the difference. It reads emotional stress as physical threat and responds with the same ancient instruction. Get calories. Get them now. Get the sweet ones. The food industry understood this long before neuroscience named it. Howard Moskowitz, the food scientist who famously redesigned Pepsi's formula in the 1970s, spent years discovering what he called the bliss point, the precise combination of sugar, salt, and fat that maximizes pleasure while eliminating the sensation of fullness. That is not accidental engineering. That is deliberate exploitation of a survival system that was never meant to encounter it. The bliss point doesn't just make food taste good. It deactivates the satiety signal. Your hypothalamus normally registers when you've had enough energy and tells you to stop. Processed food engineered to hit the bliss point disrupts that signal. You keep eating past the point of fullness because the ancient brain hasn't received its stop instruction. You aren't broken. The food was designed to break the signal. There's a moment in childhood that almost every human remembers. Someone offers you something sweet and your entire face changes. Your eyes go wide. Your body leans forward. Something wakes up. That response, that involuntary brightness, appears cross-culturally, across every population researchers have studied. Babies who have never tasted processed food show it the first time sugar touches their tongue. It is there from the beginning, waiting, because it was never optional. It was selected for. And now you live in a world that found it and built an entire industry around pulling it towards you, always, everywhere, louder and more precisely calibrated every year. The ancient brain kept your ancestors alive. It passed through famine and drought and ice ages and predators and long seasons with almost nothing. It worked. It worked spectacularly. The problem is not the system. The problem is that the environment it was built for no longer exists. And the environment you actually live in was designed by people who understood the system better than your body does. So tonight, when you reach for something sweet without quite knowing why, understand what's actually happening. A 2-million-year-old signal fires. It says, you found something rare. You found survival. Take it. And somewhere behind your eyes, an ancient part of you believes it completely. Not because you're weak, because your body is doing exactly what it was built to do, in a world that no longer exists. Now here's something worth thinking about. Every person watching this right now has that same ancient system running inside them. So drop a comment below. When does your brain ambush you the most? Late at night? Stressed at work? After a long day? Tell us down there. We read every single one. And if this changed the way you see yourself even slightly, hit the like button. It takes 1 second and it helps more people find this video. If you want to go further down this rabbit hole, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because next time, we're going somewhere just as strange, just as old, and just as impossible to unsee. We'll see you there.